Hello there everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be episode 7 of the TBR challenge. As always, all the previous episodes will be linked above throughout the video. So the first manga that I read is Dogs and Punching Bag. This is a josei, slice of life, and romance story. Our main character Nichiko returns to her island hometown after learning that her estranged father is dying. On the island, she meets a younger man named Chimaki who's very cheerful. As she and Chimaki grow closer, Chimaki's past starts to resurface, and this causes a lot of tension and a lot of interesting things to happen later on. So I've read Golden Sheep and The God's Lie by this same mangaka, so I was a bit hesitant to read this one because the other two I like them, but I always felt like something fell short. I feel like The God's Lie was a little bit better, but Golden Sheep really disappointed me because I enjoyed the first half, and then when it came to the ending, it just fell off. So with this one, I was really hesitant to start it, and I didn't know if I would like it or not. There were some parts where it included death, it included cheating, it included someone cheating but then being forgiven, and there was some other stuff I had a problem with. I did love seeing our main character Nichiko reconnect with her childhood home and just her childhood in general. She's a lot older, which I also like too. I think she's 34. So I did like that aspect of her reflecting over her life and the things that she's done. I loved reading about the other people on the island. They were so fun to see interact with each other, especially with Chimaki. Overall, I think the story was good, but it just had some elements that I was not happy with. Thankfully, this is a one-shot, and I rated this a 3 out of 5. Next up, I read That Wolf Boy Is Mine. This is a romance, supernatural, comedy, and drama story. Our main character, Komugi, transfers to rural Hokkaido for a fresh new start. Everything is fine and well and peaceful until she discovers one of her popular classmates, Yu, can transform into a wolf. Soon, she finds out other boys have supernatural secrets, and she's the only one that knows about it. This one was pretty hard to read because I was in a heavy reading slump and I did not want to continue on reading it. But I forced myself and I'm like, you know what, let me just push through, and I'm glad I did. The story was very enjoyable. There was a lot of elements of this story that seemed similar to Fruits Basket, so I enjoyed that aspect of it, like Yu and the other boys being able to transform into certain types of animals. I loved seeing Komugi slowly start to heal from all the past traumas she's faced at her previous school. This series is complete with 4 volumes. I rated this a 4 out of 5 stars. Next up, I have Yamaguchi-Kun Isn't So Bad. This is a romance, school life, coming of age, and comedy story. Shy Satsuki aims to have a fresh start in high school. However, one day when she's on the train, a man tries to assault her and Yamaguchi-Kun comes to save her. Yamaguchi-Kun is known as a gangster student. Despite his tough reputation, she believes that there is a kinder side towards Yamaguchi-Kun. I love this story because it was about Yamaguchi-Kun being misunderstood so heavily, and seeing Satsuki slowly interact with him more, get to know him more. That was just so heartwarming, and he's really so sweet, and that's also so cute. I was bored with the first few pages, but once I started reading on, it got a lot more funnier and a lot more cuter. This series is ongoing with 12 volumes. I rated this a 4 out of 5 stars. Next up, I have The Savior's Book Café Story in Another World. This is a isekai, fantasy, slice of life, and romance story. Tsukina is summoned by God to go to another world and become a savior. She agrees, but she only wants to go to open up her own cozy book cafe. She opens up her book cafe and is enjoying herself until chaos starts to erupt when another savior is summoned and they don't have the best intentions. Now Tsukumi is forced to save this world that she has her lovely book cafe in. Tsukina is an older main character, which I absolutely love. She's in like her 30s, so when she's like talking to God, she's like, look, I'm old, I'm not like, I don't really want much, I just want my book cafe. And I'm like, same, I'm not 30 yet, but like same, I'm on that same wavelength, I get you. Seeing her make that request was very relatable and nice, and like her cafe is so cute. So she has this slowly budding romance with this knight that comes in often. I loved reading this first volume so much. It was just so cute for her to like always welcome him and give him food, and then she'd put like some healing power in there too. So the budding romance. I also love the magic aspect of it. There's a lot of magic and spells involved. Like she used a lot of magic and spells to create the book cafe, so that was nice to see too as well. Like the new additions like she would add to the cafe, whether that be like the food or like the open yard in the back and other different things. I do, after this challenge, plan on reading it at some point because this series is quite short. This series is completed at 5 volumes. I gave this one a 5 out of 5 stars. Next up, I have Beauty and the Beast of Paradise Lost. This is a dark fantasy, horror, and romance story. Our main character, Belle, is seen as an ugly child because she has purple hair. Her father struggles to love her, but her mother loves her unconditionally, and her mother is also a very beautiful woman, so she's not only loved by her husband, but by her child and by everyone else. However, there's a looming rumor that there's a beast that kidnaps beautiful women and steals their faces, and unfortunately one day, that beast kidnaps Belle's mom. Belle is now being raised by her father, but he keeps her in and does not let her out at all. When the rumors of the beast reappearing start to come back, Belle makes an escape from her father's house just to figure out what happened to her mother. So I think this one is actually like a retelling, like a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I mean, obviously from the title, but in this story, instead of the main character also being like a beautiful woman, she's considered ugly by everyone else, so there's that. I did find this one very difficult to read for some reason. I don't know if it was the art. I mean, the art isn't bad, it's actually pretty good, but something about the story just did not click with me and I wasn't able to finish it through, so I actually didn't finish this one. This series is actually completed with 5 volumes and I had no ratings for this one. Next up, I have the condemned villainess goes back in time and aims of become the ultimate villain. This is a fantasy, time travel, villainous trope, and drama story. After being betrayed by her half-sister and dying in a brothel, Claudia wakes up in her childhood home again. Using every memory that she has of her past life, she is determined to change her fate in this life. Claudia decides to do different things and gain a lot more allies in order to make sure that her fate does not end up the same way as it did in her past life. This one I absolutely loved. Like at first I was a bit, intimidated by it. Not because of the title, but I don't know. I was already reading another fantasy story, so I'm like, I don't know if this one's also gonna be good too. And I think it was Beauty and the Beast, the previous one. So I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna really like this. I ended up really liking this a lot. It had a lot of similar elements to The Remarried Empress, the webtoon novel. The drama, the romance, the comedy, the art, all of it is so good and it is so engaging. Like I absolutely love it. Overall, I was just having a good time reading this and I just kept I lost track of time, and by the time I finished this first volume, I'm like, damn, I have to hold myself back again because I can't continue on reading it. This series is ongoing with 6 volumes and I gave this one a 5 out of 5 stars. Next up, I have Blank Canvas, My So-Called Artist's Journey. This is a autobiography, slice of life, and josei story. This is an autobiography of Akiko Hashigumura and her life experiences. I was so excited to read this because I realized that she's the same mangaka for Princess Jellyfish and I really like that story. So now reading her own story and her journey towards becoming a mangaka was really cool. It was nice reading about the challenges she faced as an artist, especially when it came to applying to schools and how she struggled to study. She didn't want to study, but she had to in order to get into the school that she wanted to, and just all the people that she met on her journey. Her very strict art teacher from a different part of where she lives, and how he literally hit them with a bamboo stick, and there was just so much, but it was so engaging. And again, her art, absolutely beautiful. What her life story reveals is that even when you follow your dreams, it doesn't mean that the road to getting there will be easy. Even if you're good at drawing, for example, it doesn't mean that you're gonna always be accepted for your art or your art will be seen as beautiful. She met the strict art teacher that just thought her art was absolutely not it, even though everyone else, her family, her friends, even the art teachers at school thought it was great. But this one art teacher is nah, it's terrible. She talks about the struggles with having that teacher and her self-esteem and everything else like that. So that to me was a reminder that, if I have a dream or if there's something I want to do, it's not always going to be easy, even if I love it. This series is completed at 5 volumes, and I gave this one a 5 out of 5 stars. Next up, and this one I'm so excited to talk about because the day that this one becomes an anime, I'm done. This one, the next one I read is Eden of Witches. This is a dark fantasy, coming of age, and fantasy story. The world in this story has been devastated by humans and it's complete wasteland. There's no plants, no real animals in sight at all. Witches are the only ones who can communicate with plants and animals. However, witches have to hide because their powers could easily be exploited, or they can be harmed because some people believe that the reason why plants and animals disappeared is because witches are too powerful or their powers are weird. Pili is a witch apprentice whose whole life changes around in one day after one mistake that she made. I was so excited to read this and I had such a good time reading this. Everything about it, the art, the plot, really our main character is just top tier, so good. I love the topic of nature versus man within this story. It just shows how like every form of life, whether plants or animals, is sacred, and it also shows how we need to take care of our environment and not destroy it. I can't wait to read the next volumes of this series. Like everything about it, like I said, is so beautiful and so good. Good news is that the last volume of this series comes out August 12th, and I know this video will be out after that, so by the time you're watching this, the last volume has already been released. So this series will be completed, or I guess I could say is completed, because this story is completed at 8 volumes, and I gave this one a 5 out of 5 stars. Next up, I have Shadow House. This is a mystery, supernatural, and slice of life story. A noble family lives in a murky mansion. They are known as the Shadow Family because they have no visible faces. The family employs living dolls as their faces, and they act as them. This one was a very unusual story, and it was kind of creepy because the living dolls are just there to basically be the faces of the Shadow Family. Like you can't see their faces, no expression, nothing. You just see the clothes on them. We have Kate and we have Emilico, but I can't remember which is which. But anyways, Kate and Emilico, there's a living doll and the shadow girl, and they kind of, do everything together. The job of the living doll is to basically be the face of the shadow people. So for example, the living doll will wake up and will clean the room of the shadow girl, and she'll do all these other chores for her. And then there was another shadow girl that you meet with a living doll, but this one does exactly the same thing as the shadow girl does. So she expresses the same emotions as her, she talks in the same way as her, and it gets kind of a little bit creepy. This series is ongoing with 11 volumes, and there's no way I'm going to continue on with this at all. I did rate this a 3 out of 5 stars. The last one. The last one. The Eccentric Doctor of the Moonflower Kingdom. This is a shoujo, medical drama, historical and fantasy, and romance story. Prince Keiyun meets this very talented girl named Koyu, who performs this revolutionary medical treatment on his bodyguard after they were targeted by an assassin. Koyu is then brought to the capital, and a lot of things start to unfold once she gets there. This one was another story I had such a fun time reading. Like, this one heavily reminded of the Apothecary Diaries. Like, this was like Mao, except if you were into muscles and was obsessed with like the human body. And that's pretty much Koyu, like obsessed with the human body and muscles. But her obsession with muscles and like just the human body and being able to like fix it and figure out what herbs and medicine is needed makes it all very cool and very interesting. And she has her own assistant too at that, so that's another interesting element to the story. Within this first volume, we already get a little taste of the political tension and the very suspicious things that are happening within the capital. I think for this story, I will wait until the anime comes out because there was a trailer for the anime. I don't think there's a set date of when it's going to come out, but whenever it does, I think I'm just going to watch it. This series is ongoing with 13 volumes, and I rated this a 4 out of 5 stars. That is it for this video. I usually include 6 mangas within these episodes, but for this one there's 10, so you can expect a lot more mangas within the next upcoming episodes. It was a lot. There was the first one I DNF'd in this episode, so I was a bit like upset about that because I'm like, dang, I wish I could read on, but then again, I have to be true to myself and true to what I like and what I don't like. Oh, there is one thing I wanted to say. There's this one manga series that somebody recommended. It's called This Uncle Likes Cute Things. I read volume 1, but I didn't read volume 2. Anyways, the point is that manga has an anime. I don't know. I didn't look carefully to see when it's going to come out, but I saw the anime trailer. It looks so good, and I'm like, oh my gosh, finally. Like, cause that manga, I really wanted to continue on reading it, but then there was just other stuff, and then I just had a hard time like getting volume 2, so I'm just like, man, I don't know if I can continue on reading this series. But when I saw that the anime was gonna come out, I'm like bet, like, yes, this is so good. So yeah, I'm so excited for that, and I'm really happy that that's getting an anime. Yeah, that was the big thing I wanted to say within this video, because I was like, I feel like there's something else I want to say. Yeah, I was just really excited to see that, because I'm like, finally, it feels like a weight is lifted off my chest, because I felt this like heavy guilt, because I'm like, I really like this story, but I can't get around to the next volume. But now it's like the weight is off, the days are brighter. Oh, I guess I could talk about maybe some anime that I've recently liked. There's is a You and I Are Polar Opposites. I love that one. That one is so cute. At first I was like debating between the sub or the dub, so I ended up watching with the dub, and then even then I'm like, I don't know if this is good. As soon as I like got into like, I think episode maybe like 3-4, I'm like, yeah, I'm hooked. I'm hooked, and it's so good, and like the characters are so relatable, and then I think by the same mangaka for that manga, there's another anime on Netflix called, is it The Red of the Ice? Oh my god, I can't remember the name, but I'll put it up here. Main character, she's very standoffish and has a boundary with pretty much everyone. But there's a lot of things that happened to her in middle school that caused her to be this way. So now that she's in high school, she like is trying to just have a peaceful life, but then things start to happen, and then it's just so many cool things. I'm so excited because season 2 is coming out this year in October, so you already know I'm on it. And oh my god, there's so many things to say. This fall, One Piece dub is coming. I just finished the Korean drama called The Art of Sarah. I like that one. See, here's the problem with some of these Korean dramas. I like them in the beginning, and they have a really good way of just continuing on the story, like especially in the middle, getting like things very messy and different characters involved. When it comes to the ending, sometimes I feel like they fall short, and it's like happily ever after, and it's like, no, what? No, there can't be happily ever after. You put me through so much emotional turmoil and trauma. You can't just, you know? And with this one, that's how I felt. Like, I feel like the ending was just kind of like, well, everyone's happy now. And it's like, no. Yeah, that one, it was a bit of a disappointment towards the end. So that is it for this video. I just wanted to rant out a bit. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye-bye.